Thank you so much, DJ. Would have liked a little bit more beat in that, but anyways. Let's do that. There we go. I'm going to talk to you today about the skill to impact model that is, I'm personally super excited to bring to South Africa with our partners, Cross Knowledge, who is a globally recognized organization, but we'll talk about them in a little bit more later on. I'd like to start off by asking you one simple question. How many people have you taught to swim? Now, sir, I know you're looking at me funny. I don't know if it's the fat man with the tattoos on the screen. But instead of asking this question, let me rephrase it for you. How many people have you provided any sort of skill or training? From short courses, qualifications, mentoring, e-learning, thousands, right? Now, out of those thousands, and assuming we only taught them how to swim, how many of them do you think can navigate deep ocean waters? I bet you not many will survive. And the reality we sit with today is exactly this. We've provided our people with skills to go into the world of work, but then we expect them to have the capability of adapting to the ever-changing world, personalities, bosses, environments. And according to the World Economic Forum, 50% of what we have taught people will disseminate in the next 5 years. From Microsoft courses that are now being replaced by Copilot, copywriting for marketing executives with thousands of different AI tools available. And I hope we don't have any call centers here, no offense to you. Even call center agents now being replaced by robot spam calls. Thank goodness for Truecaller, right? So what we need to be doing is convert from delivering pure skills to creating capability that has a lasting impact. And we'll dive into this model a little bit later on. Now, the Skills to Impact model was created by Cross Knowledge, as I mentioned, the world-renowned and global award-winning learning organization, and they based their model off the World Economic Forum's insights, and they partnered with top 50 thinkers from all over the world, from Harvard Business School, ESSEC Business School in France, etc. And in partnership with eStudy, we're now bringing the Skills to Impact model to sunny South Africa. And I'm not on stage here to sell to you today, although that would be nice. It is to change your mind, your beliefs and systems to think true capability and not isolated skills. Now, I present to you our capability equation, and it is core to how we help our clients. I've got some clients sitting here today. And essentially, we want to build true capability in teams. Skills is the foundation. It's knowing what to do, how to do it, when to do it, whether it's technical or whether it's behavioral. And it's developed through learning, right? Behavior is how that skill shows up in action. It is consistent, observable use of the skill aligned to the outcomes that the organization actually needs. Habits reflects the internalization of behaviors. Yes, I said the word right. These are actions repeated over time, becoming part of how someone works, and even without conscious effort. This is where learning becomes embedded in what we do on a day-to-day basis. And finally, contextual application ensures that all the other elements are used effectively in the real world. It's about knowing when, where, why, and how we need to apply a skill based on the role, the environment, and the business priorities. Now, what is a skill? A skill is something you learn in isolation. And now, don't get me wrong, it has value. But it's narrow, it's short-lived, and often measured by the wrong things, like attendance registers or quiz scores or multiple choice assessments or whatever. Capability is what we at eStudy define as the ability to act with judgment in context. It's not just about what you know, it's about how you apply it consistently under pressure to deliver results. Now that we've defined capability, the next question is how do we build it? And this is where the cross-knowledge skill to impact model comes in. It maps the complete journey from initial awareness and learning to confident application and ultimately team-level performance is where we want to get to. It's built on one simple truth. Transformation, and I'm not talking a BEE transformation, I'm talking business transformation, doesn't happen when a course ends. It happens when learning is applied and reinforced and embedded into your daily work. And that's how we move from a skill to capability to impact. Let's dive a little bit deeper into this model. Phase one is where most learning efforts begin and where many stop as well. These are important, but they are not enough. And if we stop at I know, we're only measuring understanding, not behavior, not performance, and certainly not impact. And this is why so many HR and L&D functions struggle to prove value. And to deliver real outcomes, we must go further. We must guide learners beyond knowledge into confident, consistent application in the workplace. Phase two is capability activation. This is where the skill becomes an action. It marks the capability threshold, the point where learning begins to translate into consistent, measurable performance. But learners don't cross that threshold alone. They need reinforcement, feedback, coaching, and the chance to apply the skill in a real-world environment. And that's why we don't stop at course completions, connections, usage. No, we don't stop there. We help organizations put the systems in place that turn learning into performance. Once capability is activated at the individual level, the next challenge is scale. Phase three is collective capability, or when learning becomes a shared cultural behavior. And at this stage, individual strengths become team norms. Best practices are shared, languages are aligned, and capability becomes how the team functions. And when that happens, we achieve not just individual improvement, but sustained, measurable business outcome. To turn learning into sustained performance, two things are essential: reinforcement and co-ownership. And without them, the best learning fades. With them, we move from one-time training to embedded capability, first in the individual, then in the team. There are 6 conditions that we need to apply for a sustained impact. And I'm going to start off by clarity. Here we need to make sure that everyone, learners, managers, stakeholders, training providers, partners, understand what that capability looks like and why it matters. You should make sure that all of the stakeholders are informed why you are focusing on a capability, how it will impact their world, and what it will mean for the business. Engagement is where we need to make sure we deliver learning that is relevant and emotionally connected. And once an employee is emotionally connected to learning, they start talking about it with passion, even around the braai with family and friends. Application, we must create opportunities to practice in real roles, and team settings. Deliver a course. You can't deliver a course and then 2 hours later go and monitor whether they can do that or not. Yeah, fine, in a hard skill, there might be room for that, but soft skills, certainly not. And you have to make sure that enough time and effort is put in place and allowed to master this capability or skill that we've trained. Reflection is as you allow time to apply this skill employees will naturally take time to make sense of the successes and the failures. And we have to deliver learning journeys that enable users to refer back, practice, implement, refer back, practice, implement. Giving feedback to employees are immensely important. And I'm not talking about a whipstick in the HR office. We want to make sure that we create safe spaces where we can give feedback to these individuals. So I encourage you, try and create those safe spaces for employees. And finally, support and signals. You need to provide constant coaching, enable leadership to reinforce these skills and capabilities, and implement systems that reward the capability. And I mentioned before that capability is something you design. So here's the blueprint for moving from training events to capability by design. Step 1, define capabilities. Which ones truly link to your strategy? It might be sustainability mindset, customer-centric innovation, or leadership depth. The point is to focus on what will make or break your ability to compete. Step 2, diagnose the gaps. Use workforce analytics and, importantly, manager inputs to identify where current skills fall short of future trends or needs. This is where we stop guessing and we start working with hardcore data. Step 3, design the capability ecosystem. Capabilities are not built in isolation. You need to align the skills, the behaviors, the habits, and the organizational enablers. Things like culture, leadership, systems, and processes. That's what turns skill into sustained capability. Step 4, embedded capability. This is where the co-ownership model becomes critical. Development isn't a side activity. It's integrated into workflows and processes and leadership accountability. And managers and leaders play as big a role as HR and L&D when it comes to capability building. And finally, step 5, business impact. Don't stop at completions or satisfaction surveys. Measure what matters, the behavior change, the adoption, and business outcomes. And that's how you prove learning is the engine for business transformation. As a practical example, we've built the Future Proof Skills Academy, which are made up of essential courses in the age of AI. We cover soft skills, legal, ethics, and we conceptualize this through role-based AI training. You're more than welcome to come and visit a demo. We'll do it on the hour, every hour, and then we'll have a look at that. As I close out, I'd like to give you one not-so-simple challenge. What's the one capability that your workforce needs the most in the face of AI? Take your time to process this and come and have a conversation with our team. Let's help you think through this so that we can together determine the best way forward for your business. And when you get back to the office, hopefully on Friday, not tomorrow, I want you to stop measuring learning on completion rates. Start designing learning journeys that move from I know to I am able. And finally, get your employees, your stakeholders, and leaders to co-own your capability journey. In a world of constant change, skills may expire, but capabilities evolve. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the difference between training and business transformation. Thank you.